Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Eat, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Eat Family Dinner. I think I've told you this before. I love these episodes, and it's fun for me to just kind of fill you all in on what's been going on, what's the latest, what I've been working on, how I've been feeling, what I'm trying in my routine, and kind of catch you up since the last Let's Eat Family Dinner episode. That was end of January, and a lot has changed since then. So thank you for being here. Welcome back to the table, and let's eat. Welcome to Let's Eat. I'm your host, Emily, certified holistic health coach, functional nutrition expert, and self-proclaimed wellness enthusiast, here to meet you at the intersection of physical and mental health, the space within which we become well. This podcast is meant to explore all areas of mind and body wellness, designed to offer you the integrative knowledge, behavioral strategies, and mindset shifts necessary to uplevel your health and feel better today. We'll explore nutrition, sleep, movement, self-care and stress management, habits and routines, self-development, gut health, mental health, and more. I am so happy that you're here. Welcome to the table. Let's eat. So welcome back. Like I said, a lot has changed in a month. There's a lot going on. Let's set the scene a little bit. This week has been so much, and I definitely put more on my to-do list than there are hours in the day. I am currently in a position where I work for myself Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I'm in the restaurant bartending Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays I have to set some boundaries with myself, but I do typically work a little bit on Sunday depending on what my day looks like. But I am slowly inching to the point where Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays are just so much. And it's not just client work, it's just all sorts of different work. It's podcast work, it's work I'm doing for the university, it's content creation work. There's just a lot going on, and I'm so grateful for it. I am so grateful for it because when I first started working for myself, there were many weeks and months where I remember thinking, what am I supposed to do with myself? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to work on? I wouldn't have much to do, and now it's 6:30 in the morning and I'm recording this podcast for tomorrow because I thought about my day and I realized there's just no way I am getting this done. And not to mention, I also had some time off, so that's kind of pushed me back a little bit. This week I was declaring Sprint Week. This is something I've been seeing on social media, and essentially it's this concept of you take the time, whether it's a week or a month, and just sprint towards the goals you have for yourself. And so I have this list on my notes app, which, fun fact about me, I can't live without my notes app. I am obsessed with my notes app. It is everything to me. I would be lost without my notes app, I swear. I have a list on my notes app, and I built it out last week for my plan for this week. And let's just say I've been taking a nice jog. No one is sprinting here. We're just jogging here. Maybe like a moment of like giving it all I got, and then I slow down and go back to a jog. We're really not sprinting per se, which the plan was to sprint, let me tell you. But I'm just looking at my list and I'm not getting everything done, and then I'm waking up the next day. Sunday night I did not have a good night's sleep, and Monday I was just feeling really off and pretty sad and whatnot. So that kind of killed my sprint energy, whereas all last week I was like, I'm so excited, this is going to be great. So still want to pursue that. A lot of it was around my functional testing program. Oh, I thought my phone was on silent. A lot of it was around the functional testing program, work I had to do for the university, which I'm a little bit behind on, reading, meditation. I mean, there's just a lot of things that I wanted to kind of incorporate into my day. Even for this morning, I wanted to really hold the boundary, and I'll talk a little bit about this, with my mornings and giving myself the space to read and journal and have that time in the morning. I have this irrational thought that I need to get up and I can read for a little while and I can write for a little while, but I need to get right to work, or I need to get right on my computer and start working on my program. And I really don't. Like, I really should be giving myself that time, especially when I'm getting up between 5 and 5:30. Why don't I take the time to read and take care of myself? And eventually I'd like to go out on a walk or sit out on my deck and enjoy that. So I need to rein it in a bit. But the point here was sprint week has been less of a sprint week, but I plan to carry this energy into March. So that's my plan for March. I was going to share a little bit about this on Instagram, and then I never got a chance to. My goal for March is to essentially just be really intentional about what I'm working on, what my focuses are. And maybe that was my problem, is maybe I just expected me to be focusing on all the things, but really spending the time in March to focus on the goals that I have for myself and what I'm working on. I just said that. I'm repeating myself. And taking the necessary energy to really focus in and eliminate distraction and all that. So join me if you'd like. This was just kind of like an entry into that, but I'm really excited. And it's not just, goals. It's more, taking care of myself too, and really focusing on that. That's something obviously I always do, but maybe taking March to really focus on all areas of my wellness, not just my professional health and what I'm, working on with how many times can I say that? Working on all my projects and so forth, but also my financial health and my physical health and especially my mental health, and really tuning into how to take care of those things throughout the month of March. So that is my unofficial plan that I just created right now. Now, I have, I forgot to mention this, I have a matcha with me with raw milk and coconut milk. I also have collagen in it and magnesium. So this has been my go-to morning drink now for probably, I've been drinking matcha for a long time, but especially now that I'm working on my hormone health, this is just much gentler on my body in comparison to having coffee. So I'm working on that. I'll share a little bit more about what's going on there. And then I also have yogurt with me, blackberries, and slivered almonds. That's been my kind of go-to morning, I don't want to call it a breakfast because it's really not totally a breakfast, but it's kind of like a half breakfast, my first breakfast. So that's what I have. And I also have lemon water, but I left it out in my kitchen, so I should probably go get that. So that is my plan for March. And then while I'm on the topic of March is also National Nutrition Month. And so I'm really trying to brainstorm different topics, not only for the podcast, but also across all platforms around nutrition and focusing on that specifically. Now, that's obviously a big bulk of my work, and that's a lot of what I talk about, but really honing in onto specific areas in nutrition to talk more about them and expand on them, really hovering around mind-body health. So that is the plan for March. I'm also going to be releasing a new offering for you. It's just going to be valid through the month of March. So that's really exciting, where we're really taking a deep dive into your nutritional habits and exploring how to make improvements there. And then I've also offered free nutrition audits before. I think I've done that probably maybe 5 or 6 times. So I'm going to offer that as well. So anyone who wants to take advantage of that, that's going to be like a 3-day nutrition audit. You fill out food journals, send them in to me, and then I give you feedback on them. And then there's also another offer that's a little bit more hands-on, one-on-one, and you can get the support that you need around your nutrition and learn a little bit more about it. That's what I hope to have you take away from it. So that is coming. I'll share more on the podcast, and I will also share more on social media. So let's get into the biggest elephant in this room. It has now been almost 2 weeks without my Lou, and it has been very hard. I, full transparency, feel a little bit hesitant to share on this because I feel like for people who don't own pets, they don't really get it necessarily, and maybe they do. to some extent. Maybe you had someone in your life who experienced this. I don't want to generalize and say all pet owners don't get it, and I don't want to say all pet owners do get it. But it has been rough, and I didn't think that it would be. I can't even say that because I didn't know how it would be. I didn't know, and I imagined it would be terrible. But it has been really hard. And especially this week, working at home, really back into my routine and not having her here, it is just so quiet. It is just so lonely. And it's been tough. It's been really tough. Even these past 2 days have been really hard. I got the bill in the mail from the vet. They told me her ashes were ready to be picked up. Things like that coming into the picture have been really kind of hard and kind of like a punch in the face and another reminder that this is a real thing. And I haven't touched her belongings. All of her things are still, her toys are out, her beds are out. The blanket where she used to lay on my bed is still there. I haven't let my Roomba run because I don't want all the fur to be picked up. This is the level that I'm going to here. And it sucks. It just really sucks. And I miss her a lot. That's all I can feel is just missing her and wanting her here. And it's, yeah, I have really no other words to say aside from that. I'm doing my best to just kind of move forward and be patient with it and take it as it comes, because I know that, grief comes in waves and there's ebbs and flows and whatnot. But if I'm being completely honest, it's been really challenging, and I don't have anything else to say for that. I have no other words. I don't know. I just have been having a hard time with it. Even yesterday it was close to 60 degrees, and she used to love laying on the deck that I have outside, and it was just weird because that would be where she would be, and I haven't seen the back half of my neighborhood in over a month because I haven't been on a walk. Usually we're going on walks, multiple walks a day. And yesterday, I didn't have time yesterday, which you always have time for things that you can make important. But yesterday was just a day. So I didn't get a chance to go for a walk like I had thought I wanted to do. But it's just tough. It's really tough. So I appreciate all of you who have checked in, and I don't think that I'll be as open about this on social media as I am here because I don't want to, like I said in last week's episode, I don't want to make my grief anyone else's problem and whatnot. And I know that it's understood that this is hard, but as the weather gets nicer, I just know it's going to really hit me because she and I used to do everything together when the weather was nice. She was a swimmer through and through. We went on walks, we went on runs together. I would let her off the leash and I would run, and she would run in the stream next to me behind the house that I grew up in. She just was so much fun, and a lot of the reason why I did those things. So I'm just trying to, be patient with it and know that this is a part of the process. It's just such a bizarre experience. It really is. Just thinking about the month of February and finding out about her sickness, and then going through all that I was going through with trying to help her and monitoring her, and the stress and the anxiety of all of that, and then her decline, and then that was it, and I think it's hard to just wrap my head around that, and it feels so strange that she's mine and it was all my responsibility and my decision, and just to think she's not here. It's really surreal. It's really, really surreal. And she was, maybe I lost my thought before. She was in my dream on Sunday night, and that really threw me. That really, really threw me. And I woke up, and of course you wake up thinking she's there and she's not, so yeah, it's been a hard couple days. Last week I was moving along pretty smoothly, kind of just focusing on what I had in front of me, and it's just been an ebb and a flow. And that's how it goes. And I don't know how much I shared last week, but I wouldn't have had it any other way, the way the whole day took place. And my mom was there, and I was able to hold her and have some time with her. And yeah, that moment, while very traumatic, I am grateful that it happened exactly the way that it happened. And now it's just about moving forward. So once again, thank you for everyone who reached out. I'm sorry that this is, I guess I'm not sorry, but I am kind of sorry. I don't want this to be like bringing down the energy, and, I'm supposed to be in the midst of sprint week, but I just am being real about where I'm at. And this is a part of my life that is massively changed now. My life has felt like it was at a standstill. It still kind of does. It feels really hard to just carry all of this and then continue to be the person that I need to be. But I have to just be gentle with it. And if I need time to take it and put it down, I can do that, and to just breathe and to feel what I'm feeling, and then, to just take another step forward. So thank you again. It really, really means a lot to me. So in other more positive news, I am officially underway teaching Pilates, and I've been teasing at it and I've been sharing a little bit about it, but I'm still really getting my footing here. I taught my 5th class this past week, and I love it. I'm so excited for this. I'm excited to really build my competence in it. I've already noticed definitely improvements in terms of my confidence level and how I'm creating classes and so forth. And so I'm really grateful for that. But it has been so much fun, and I never saw myself doing this. Maybe that's not true. Maybe I did. I don't know. I don't know if I told you this. I looked into teaching Pilates many years ago. I think I was probably 23 or 24. And then that was more like classical Pilates. And now I'm doing more Pilates sculpt, which is more of like a fusion of actual, I don't know what the best way of saying it. It's more like strength-based without the classical features of like Joseph Pilates and the mat work that he does, or he did and promoted. And so that's why I love this, because I don't think I don't have the tolerance for classical Pilates per se. I fell in love with this approach based on what the owner of the studio taught, and I really enjoyed it. And it's almost been a whole year that it's been a whole year that I've been taking these classes, but it's almost been a whole year since I started thinking about the idea of teaching. And I'm so glad that I did and decided to challenge myself in this way. And there's a lot of learning left to be done. I have a lot of refining to do, but it has been a physical and mental challenge. And I am so excited to see where this goes. I'm so excited. I love fitness. I love movement. I love health, obviously. For those of you who don't know, I actually co-founded a nonprofit organization in 2019 called Move for Mind. And it was with my friend Taylor. And long story short, I had posted on Facebook about wanting to host a 5K for mental health awareness, because at the time I was running a lot and I was running 5Ks that meant something to me. So I think I did an organ donation 5K, which is important and resonates with me and my family because my brother is an organ recipient, 2-time organ recipient. I've done other 5Ks that had, meaning or significance or benefited a certain organization that I believed in. And so I posted that on Facebook, and Taylor messaged me and was like, I'll help you with this. I'd love to be able to do this, because he himself is a runner. He himself was in a dark place, and running really helped him come out of that. And then obviously I was in school for mental health. So we ended up deciding to create or co-found a nonprofit. And this was 2019, and our plan was to host a run in April 2020. And you can make an educated guess as to why that did not happen. And we just had to keep delaying it. And then I forget what ended up happening. I forget. I don't remember. The run never actually happened. We had the organization. There was a lot of things that were coming out of that. And then slowly I became busy with lots of other things that were going on. And I kind of slowly stepped my way out of the organization and became less involved. And Taylor really took it over. And it's very impressive what he built with it and what he did with it. But that's a little fun fact about me. I don't think a lot of people know that. But anyways, that just speaks to the significance around how I feel about movement, especially for mental health, but just in general. I mean, how much I love it, how much of a role it plays in my life. So I cannot wait to really share more on teaching. I will share more on social media because I'd love for everyone to come take a class with me. I'm teaching once a week right now with opportunity to fill in, and then hopefully getting to a point where I'll be teaching 2 to 3 times a week. And it's been nice because 2 of the other girls that also were training alongside me, this is new to them and they're just getting started as well. So it's been nice to have that camaraderie and to have that support to lean into, because we're all in the same boat and we're all new and it's all different for us. So it's been a lot of fun to have that kind of companionship along the way. But it has been a lot of fun for me. I really look forward to it. It's a really beautiful community of women. There's some men, but women. And we have a lot of fun. And I think there's like a culture that's there. And I always say this to the owner when we're chit-chatting, how valuable that is in maintaining the the energy within the classes, but also having people interested to come back. You know, they have friends there. We, see each other every week. It's just a lot of fun. So, and it's also allowed me to see other people in my area and get to know other people in my area. I moved here July 2023, and I didn't grow up very far from here, but I certainly was not someone who was familiar with this area. So being able to go to the studio now, I'm meeting so many women my age that I didn't know. I mean, had this been a studio that existed in my hometown or in the area I went to high school, I probably would know a lot of people, and that would be a blessing and a curse, because it would probably be not in like a really negative way, but more just everyone I know from work, my customers from high school, just a lot of people. So it's been nice to see this group of individuals that I don't know, I've never met before, but they're all from this area, and I'm new to this area-ish, and so getting to know them and whatnot has been a lot of fun. So that is the latest. That is something I'm constantly working on. And as I transition from this topic, I'm going to speak on how this has impacted my relationship with exercise. As you know, when it comes to exercise, I was doing a lot of Peloton strength classes. So the majority of my workouts the past year, I would say, have been boot camps on Peloton, which for those of you who don't know what that is, that's a combination of cycling and strength. I like it because I think it's a good blend. I want that strength component. I don't want to, if I had any complaint, it would be there's too much cycling. I'd rather there be less cycling, because I'm really not focused on the cardiovascular work as much anymore. I'm really focused on the strength. But that's been the bulk of what I've been doing, or I've just been doing strength training on Peloton. And that has been my routine. I mean, 4 to 5 days a week, plus going on walks. That's kind of been my rhythm. That's kind of been what I've loved. And I mean, Pilates has kind of just fell into the mix there as well. So say the past year, strength training, boot camps, walking, and Pilates. Now that I have been doing a lot more Pilates, this has forced me to kind of reconsider and reevaluate what I'm doing on the Peloton. I don't think I've done, especially in the past 3 months since I've really started training fully and going to classes more, I have not been doing really any workouts on the Peloton as much. I mean, I don't want to say any. I haven't been doing as much. Today I'm going to hopefully do one because I miss it. I miss that structure. I miss the heavy weights. But it's really fascinating. And I think this is an important piece to any exercise journey, is allowing your seasons of life to be what they are. And then your movement routine will evolve as a result of where you are in life, and having the ability to be flexible with that is important. I have a couple clients who are navigating injuries right now, and I think the best thing they can do is, based on their injury, lean into what their body is able to do and honor what it can't do right now. That is always going to be my guidance. And kind of the same thing here. Whatever phase of life that you're in, honoring what your body is asking for and getting moving, right? Getting moving nonetheless, but not forcing yourself or being ultra rigid with what you think you should be doing or what you're expecting from your body if that's just not where it is. Walking outside right now, it's starting to get more enjoyable, and obviously with Lou, I would have to go outside and walk her, but in the cold weather, it's not ideal. I am working on getting a walking pad though, and if anyone has recommendations, side note, on a walking pad they like, please let me know, because honestly at this point it's kind of useless because the weather is about to get really nice, so why do I need a walking pad? But I go to search for them and then I become overwhelmed because there's so many and I don't know what to get, and then I just decide, this has happened, I kid you not, 10 times. I've gone to Amazon, looked for a walking pad, got overwhelmed. I couldn't read another review, and so I said, all right, I'm not doing this. Anyways, it's going to be nice out. So, but the difference between what my workouts look like in the winter versus what they look like in the spring and the summer is, in the summer I am more willing to go out and run. I don't run very often as it is, but when it's nice out, oh, absolutely. I mean, I have a picture of Lou and I from March 3rd of last year on a run. Like, that's something that we would do. Excuse me. So being willing to be flexible, for example, essentially what I just said about what I'm focusing on is right now, cross-training with weights and heavier weights is important for my growth as an instructor, and I know that, and I also enjoy the work that I do with Peloton, so I'm not going to just abandon ship on that, but I also have to be cognizant of, okay, well now I'm teaching, so what's that going to look like, and how's that going to change my routine if I'm doing the class alongside my class, if I'm doing the class alongside the members, and if I end up doing 2 or 3 classes a week, what's that going to look like for me? And then how's that going to change my movement routine? So all of these factors are kind of something I'm considering, because obviously I want to be sure I'm giving myself adequate rest. I don't want to burn out my body. Something I am noticing is my recovery is not as strong, and that's something that I think is linked to my hormones. So I got my hormone results back, and I'm working on creating kind of my own protocol with that. I was offered a protocol, but I'm kind of embellish it and build it out a little bit more. And I think that has to do with my hormones, my muscle recovery, and not feeling like I am recovering quick enough. And even when I am recovered, I just don't feel like I'm as strong in my workouts. Like my body just feels tired. So I need to do a little bit more exploring and reviewing around this, but I'm almost positive it has something to do with that. So I'll have to look into it more and give that some thought. Okay, never mind. Here we go. Estrogen plays a significant role in muscle recovery, particularly in women, by promoting the repair and regeneration of muscle tissue through its influence on muscle stem cells, meaning that adequate estrogen levels are crucial for optimal muscle recovery after injury or exercise, especially postmenopause when estrogen levels naturally decline. So there you have it. I knew there was something with estrogen and muscle recovery, and I've just been confirmed here. So I'm hopeful through my new protocol, because there are issues with my estrogen and there's issues with my cortisol. So I'm hopeful that through this process, I notice improvements there, because that's been really challenging because I just feel like my body doesn't bounce back. And yes, also I just turned 30, so I know things change, but with how active I am and how much I take care of myself, I also think even just in the past several weeks, my protein intake has definitely declined. So I'm starting to look more into what I can do around that and how I can be more thorough and proactive about hitting those goals and supporting my body in recovery. So I have a creatine supplement. I have some amino acid supplements. So I'm going to start to play around with those and see how it feels and see what helps and what demonstrates improvement. So as it relates to my hormone health, there were some imbalances in my estrogens, and then I had elevated cortisol, which no surprise there. So I'm working on cortisol regulation. I was having issues with my progesterone as well, which what I'm learning and what I'm seeing is there's a relationship between the progesterone and cortisol. So potentially if I work out my cortisol health and work out regulating that could then impact my progesterone. I've always known that I have had issues with detox, which can then reflect in issues with estrogen, because estrogen dominance is a very common thing in women, and that contributes to painful periods. It contributes to fibroids. It contributes to so many things, and we're not talking about this enough. But because what I know about my body, I have trouble with detox. So I was kind of working on this at one point in time, and I was really strong in my liver support game and my detox game. And since then, I've kind of fallen off of that. So I've been re-upping that to support that area. So basically balancing estrogen metabolism, supporting progesterone, and regulating cortisol. And as we know, our hormones work as a symphony, so all of it is interrelated. So some of my symptoms more recently within the last year, I would say, have been around my cycle. And so that led me to questioning what was going on, which I knew my symptoms were red flags, because I know that painful PMS and painful periods, while it's common, it is not normal, and that is usually indicative of something underneath the surface. And I think that's one of the most common things that women experience is painful PMS, and then they go to their gynecologist and they're given birth control because that's the solution. And I say that in the most extreme air quotes you can imagine. And then they're on this birth control for however long, and that's causing all of its issues, and it's just not getting to the underlying problem. And that's why women's hormone health is just so messy in our culture. So this is something that I know is important, because obviously I want to be sure I'm taking care of myself, and I know elevated cortisol and issues with estrogen can result in really more serious issues. So I am being proactive here. So I am on a couple different supplements, and then obviously focusing on balancing my blood sugar, which is focusing on protein, focusing on fiber, lots of color, getting enough sleep, moving my body productively, incorporating some herbal teas. Those are all valuable and obvious steps that I need to be taking. And then my hormone health, I did a stool analysis, and I learned that I needed support in a couple different areas, bolstering certain types of bacteria and so forth. So incorporating more foods to replenish that, to support that, and supporting estrogen detox, which I had already said that. So all of this is interrelated. I'm going to say it again, all of this is interrelated. And what I'm most excited about is all of this testing is testing I'm going to be able to offer my clients and anyone who I work with, and it will be the primary form of work that I do. So it's been really fun to do it on myself. And I also have a bunch of tests at home with me that I am offered that's included in my program. So being able to do the tests and then learn how they're interpreted and know what to do about them is really cool. And then I'm going to be able to run the tests on myself and then interpret them and administer my own protocol alongside a mentor as I move through this program. So I'm really, really excited for that. So that's all underway. The program I did before was Kale Diagnostics. That's the program I did all of the testing this past year through. Not a huge fan, I'll be completely honest. I'm not thrilled with the experience, but I still got results, and that's really what's the most important part. And now I know a little bit more about what's going on. And then for the cortisol piece, a lot of this is going to be nervous system support. So incorporating more deep breathing, meditation, managing my blue light. Reducing excess caffeine, which I don't have a problem with caffeine. I just like to have a lot of different caffeine-based beverages in my day, and that's not so good. So I do metabolize caffeine very fast. I learned that. So I'm not worried about that aspect. I'm just worried about having too much caffeine and what that can do to my cortisol. So I need to manage that. Matcha is a good kind of transitional beverage to not having coffee because it's just a bit gentler, but a lot of nervous system support, a lot of magnesium and getting outside and disconnecting, which is probably the exact medicine that I need at this time anyways. So really excited to have this information and to have more of a direction and focus on what I can be doing to help support my body better based on what my hormones are saying. And that's about it for right now. Like I said, I have a couple supplements I'm taking, a couple in the morning, one at night. So it'll be interesting to see how that impacts my body, how my cycles look in reflection of these changes, and really sticking to them. I think having some more structure in my day and my week after having a couple weeks where I felt like everything was all over the place is going to be really valuable, especially as the weather starts to improve. So I'm looking forward to that because I think that's going to help me feel like I have my head on straight a little bit more. I'm creating a new routine without Lou, which is obviously very sad, but that's how it goes. So cultivating a new routine without having her here is also going to help me adjust to a new normal, we'll say, and move along. I will say that there may be a big change happening. I'm going to hint at that. There might be a big change happening in the next few weeks, possibly in April. So that will completely shift everything, but I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm not going to do anything about that until I know it's happening. So you can interpret that as you so choose, but I'll share more once I have a little bit more information on that. So stay tuned. That was so cryptic of me, so I apologize, but that's all I can give you right now. So just sit tight. You'll have to check back in. So like I said, moving into March, sprint month with respect to cortisol health. I told the girls that I meet with bi-weekly who are also coaches, one of them being someone I've been friendly with now for almost 3 years. I said to them, ladies, I'm doing sprint week next week and this is what I'm doing. And they have their own businesses as well. And the one said to me, so Emily, how are you going to be supporting your cortisol in the midst of sprint week? And I was like, honestly, she got me there. She got me there. Because that's a valid question, because sprint week definitely does not align with cortisol health and managing stress. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited though, because I haven't been as committed to my meditation practice and my breathing practice as I was, I guess I would say in the summer and the fall, and I miss that. And so I'm really excited now that I have almost like a prescriptive responsibility to commit to that. And I can only imagine investing in that and practicing more mindfulness and really focusing on that area of my life, how beneficial that will be to my business, to my health, to everything. By focusing on that area and making time for that, that will just fill my cup in so many other ways. So it's going to be a balance and a delicate dynamic there, a little bit of a dance between focusing on goals and really eliminating distractions and investing in the areas that I want to invest in, and then also honoring the fact that your girl has elevated stress hormones and I need to kind of take it easy. So when I find a balance there, I'll let you know, but it's going to be a day-to-day practice, and I'm going to hopefully hold myself accountable to it. And then at the end of March, the last Let's Eat Family Dinner, or the episode of Let's Eat Family Dinner, I'll recap on this. I'll let you know how it went. So in 4 weeks, I'll get back to you. A book I've been reading is It's Okay That You're Not Okay by Megan Devine. It's all about grief. And I bought these books almost immediately after Lou died, which even saying that, that's just wild to me. Just because I wanted to read a little bit more about grief, and I know how misinterpreted it is, and even my comments earlier about feeling like I don't want to make my grief someone else's problem, and it's been 2 weeks and I don't want to talk about it anymore. That I think is the real experience of a lot of people, feeling like they're expected to grieve for a couple days and then that's it. And then they're off to normal life again. And I know definitely for people who are grieving a person or a significant other or a parent or whatever the case is, that is not the case at all. And bereavement is like 3 days and then it's like, okay, you got over it, right? Okay, so like get back to what you're supposed to be doing. And I think that's really problematic. And we tend to avoid grief because we don't like negative emotions. We don't like to sit in pain. We don't want to acknowledge it necessarily, not, by our culture. It's uncomfortable and we like to avoid discomfort. So I'm reading this book because it's been really helpful to kind of understand grief a little bit more and then also feel a little bit more validated. And I bought another one because I listened to a podcast. It was actually perfect timing. They had a author and therapist, I believe he is, on The Skinny Confidential, and he recently released a book. So I haven't started that one yet, but I'm going to start that one when I'm done with the one I'm reading. But it's been helpful because it's not a topic that I think we want to read about, and we're probably not diving into a book about grief unless we're a therapist, unless we're in the midst of grief. And so I'm grateful for it because I think it'll help me help others a little bit more if they experience this. And then also in the future, when I experience grief in other ways, it's going to be helpful to have those tools and those kind of, I don't know, what's the word? I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know the word. Those tools, we'll call those tools. And understandings, I guess, to lean into. Because our culture does a really bad job at grief. We don't do grief well. We don't. And there's no right way to do it. That's a big part of the book. It's like, it's not getting over it. It's just being with it and holding it and saying like, yeah, this sucks. Like, this sucks. And then, learning to hold it and be with it in the midst of your life and moving forward. So that's what I'm reading. I have 2 books that I've pre-ordered by 2 women who I admire. They're very big into manifestation and self-development and all that. So their books come out end of April and beginning of May, coincidentally, both of them releasing books within a week of each other. So I'm really looking forward to those because I love them. I listen to their podcasts. I follow them on social media. So anytime I have somebody that I really love releasing a book, it gets me really excited. So I pre-ordered those. And I have a couple others that I have not gotten through yet. So someone take away my Amazon from me because I am just a notorious chronic book buyer and I have a problem. The first step is admitting you have a problem. So here I am. And especially now in my sprint month era and as the spring comes our way and with all this time now, I think reading is a good way to get my mind off of things. And so I need to either make more time to, this is the compromise. Okay. I'm putting it out here so you can all hold me to it. Either I make more time to read or I don't get to buy new books because I'm not going through these books fast enough. And then I'm like, I'm going to buy 6 new ones. Like, Emily, that logic does not make sense. That does not make sense. You have plenty of unread books to read. So read those first. What are you doing? So yeah, someone hold me to this because I'm not doing this very well and I need to. That is the plan before I buy anything new. And I have a pretty lofty book goal for this year. So I need to start getting to it and start reading. So that's what I need to do before I buy anything new. I have a lot of books started that I haven't yet made my way through, and they're all sitting around my house. Literally, I need to take a day to just deep clean. I have been such a mess with everything. My kitchen is a mess. I mean, yeah, it has been. That's all I'm going to say. It's been. So I need to take the time to just deep clean and put all my books together, all these half-read books together, and sit down and say, I'm starting with this one. I'm not picking up another one until I finish this one, and then make my way through the list. That's the plan. So that's what I've been reading. And podcasts, same thing. I mean, my same lineup. Wellness trends that I've been loving. I don't know. Honestly, I really can't think of anything off the top of my head. I mean, outside of just the standard what I see on social media about hormone health and managing cortisol, that's really me now. Getting morning sunlight and really working on my real downfall is having caffeine before I've had something in my system, or having caffeine alongside food, which is still better, but I really want to get into the habit of delaying my caffeine. So that is something I really want to focus on. And then also not exposing myself to blue light first thing in the morning. That is my toxic trait. I have such a hard time with that. So that is something I'm really going to work on. And do it incrementally, right? So doing just 10 minutes, starting with 10 minutes, not being on my phone, and then 20 minutes, and then 30 minutes, and working away, especially as the weather gets nicer and the sun comes up earlier. I'll be able to get outside and just keep my phone on do not disturb. But that is something I struggle with, and that is going to be a big piece to my cortisol health puzzle. So really trying to manage the bookends of my day by delaying blue light in the morning and staying off of blue light in the evening. So you heard it from me. I need to stick to this. And I was so good at it for a while, and it was the best. I felt so undisturbed. I mean, no one's calling me at this time in the morning, but I wasn't looking at my email and getting myself into the day. I just had time to read. And you know what? Maybe this is the catalyst that I need to finish my books. So maybe this should be my inspiration, because when my phone was not on at all and I kept it off and I just stayed away from it, I was reading, I was journaling. I mean, I miss that person. So I'm going to try to get back there. What I'm loving, crackers and cottage cheese. I know that's so random, but I started doing that the other day and I love it. I've been having trouble with high protein snacks and I've been trying to get creative. I have the ingredients to make egg muffins and I just haven't gotten a chance to do it. So I'm working on that. But crackers and cottage cheese has been my snack lately and it's been so amazing. You can buy any cracker, so you can do all different flavors. I had everything but the bagel seasoning crackers the other day with cottage cheese. It was so good. And then I did sun-dried tomato and basil by Simple Mills with cottage cheese. Also so good. And I really love the Good Culture cottage cheese. So shout out to Good Culture cottage cheese. That is a dream partnership someday. It's a probiotic cottage cheese and it is so good. So highly recommend that combo. My raw milk lattes, they have been a staple. I will not lie. Last week, I got 2 glass bottles of raw milk. I'm going to pick up more today. In all the time that I have today, I'm going to pick it up. And it has been my only milk, aside from coconut milk, in the fridge. I haven't been doing almond milk because I was buying almond milk, coconut milk, and raw milk. And then I'd also have half and half or heavy cream. So I was buying all these for different reasons, because I'm very specific and particular about what I like with what. And I decided, you know what, I'm spending enough money on this raw milk. I did buy 2 glass bottles to see how much I would get through. And I'm almost done with my second bottle and I have to go pick up more today. So depending on what their selection looks like, I might get 2 again. But yeah, I think I might be transitioning to just milk. but we'll see. I haven't totally decided on my plan there. It's not a big deal, but I get mine in Easton, Pennsylvania. I'm in New Jersey, but I'm 5 minutes from Easton. So I smuggle the illegal raw milk over the border into New Jersey and have it in my New Jersey home. So that is something that I've been doing, and raw milk is very controversial. So I won't get into it too much, but it's very controversial. That's why it's illegal in a lot of states. And so, that's, everyone has their own opinions on it and can feel what they feel about it. But I've incorporated it, and we'll see how it goes. I really just want to see how my body feels in response to it. I've been having some weird skin rash, and or is it not necessarily, I guess it's a rash, but it's allergic reaction, I'm pretty sure. But I think it has to do with one of my products. But I still want to be aware of it because now I've been drinking a lot more raw milk. So I want to be sure I know what is going on here, because obviously if it's causing any kind of issue, I don't want to continue to drink it. So I don't think it's connected to the milk. I think it is a product. So I've had skin allergies in the past. So that's interesting too. I think the cortisol issue is impacting my immunity, because I'm noticing I've been dealing with like this sinus issue for over a week now. Not over a week, I guess almost a week. And so that's been strange because usually it doesn't linger as long as it has. And my skin health, my skin issues have kind of returned a little, I guess you could say. And that was a big issue when I was dealing with gut issues and all that in my early 20s. So I think there might be some sort of dynamic that's going on here. So really interested to just monitor them, keep an eye on the symptoms, and then commit to the protocol and see how things potentially improve. Because if your cortisol is elevated, so much of everything else in your system is going to be compromised, because that's activating your sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight or flight. And in the midst of fight or flight, your body doesn't want to digest. It doesn't, there's a lot of things that are put on hold or are just down regulated for the sake of protection and survival. And I'm not in any immediate danger, but my body thinks that I am because the fact that I'm chronically activated. So it's really interesting when you look at it through that lens and then learn like, oh my God, like that's wild that all of those things are impacted because I'm in a chronic state of stress, and my health is going to obviously suffer, and different areas of my health are going to be compromised as a result of it. So more to come on that. And then lastly, what I'm loving is extra filling of my cup. I have been extra filling my cup. That's really all it is. I started going to a infrared sauna cold plunge spot that just opened. It's about 35 minutes from me, so it's not super, super close. For those of you who are local, it's in Flemington, and I was able to meet the owner, and now we have kind of like a professional relationship. And so I've been sharing on social media about them, and that's been a lot of fun, and I'll continue to do that, and I've really enjoyed it. So that's something that I'm going to be doing probably once a week. I won't get there more than once a week, probably just because of the distance, but that's been nice to kind of give my body physical recovery, which, as I mentioned, I need that now, especially moving into teaching Pilates and that sort of thing. But then also just the emotional and mental recovery. And they have some services that I've never tried before. But you all, if you know me at all, you know I am a diehard for a good infrared sauna, a real hot infrared sauna. So that has been a lot of fun. So that is something I've been doing. I have a massage scheduled today. I wanted to get a facial because I love facials, but I have the skin thing going on. So I was like, I probably shouldn't. So I switched that over to a massage, and just setting aside time, March especially, for things that help me feel good, that, nourish my soul, that allow me the time to kind of take care of myself. That's really the plan, both physically and mentally, the value in that. And taking it a day at a time. Taking it a day at a time. That's all we can all do, right? And just being patient with the process and focusing on what I can focus on, what I can control, and, nourishing my mind and my body along the way. So that about wraps up today's family dinner episodes. I didn't want to add any Q&A. I had a couple questions, but now it's getting super lengthy and I chit-chatted for a little bit too long. So that's going to wrap up our episode for today. I am so grateful if you are still here, you're still listening. And I'm really excited that, exciting things are happening. And even in the midst of grief, light can still exist. It's an interesting dialectic, if you will, when two opposites can exist at the same time, because I think sometimes we think, well, if I'm grieving, I can't still hold space for happiness and positivity and excitement. And I think that's what you have to do, because in the midst of grief, you have to be able to find something in your life that is pulling you through. And if you don't, then you just drown in your grief. And I think that can be moments in time in the process, but being able to still find those glimmers and still find something to get you out of bed in the morning, that is really, really important too. So in the midst of all this, in the midst of grief, in the midst of loss, still knowing that there is light and there's still happiness and good in the world, and I'm still here and I'm still healthy and I still have a business that I love and work that I do that's important to me, and I have relationships and friendships and my parents and my siblings and my nieces and all of the things in this world that are still very good and still here. And so knowing that both of that can exist, that I can feel the grief, feel the loss, feel the sadness, feel the weight of it all, and also feel grateful and excited for what's next, even if it doesn't always feel exciting, because life was exciting and fun and happy with her, and now she's not here. But knowing that all of that can still happen at the same time, I think it takes a lot of pressure off of feeling guilty for feeling the light, and then not feeling so much pressure around, well, I should still be grieving. I should still only be sad. I should still only be this because, whatever, right? That's kind of how I see it, that both of them can exist and that you can hold both, and that gives you space to experience both so that you're not living in one or the other and feeling a particular way about it, if that makes sense. So I hope that makes sense. But thank you again for being here. It means so much to me. I love this space. I love this platform. It's been so much fun, and so much joy has been brought to my life as a result of it. And so I hope it has brought you joy as well. But thank you for joining me at the table for another episode of Family Dinner. And in the meantime, until you join me again, be well.